Hello. Y'all hear me? All right. I'm doing a bit of a test here. So I have like some very low volume music playing, or I'm just gonna turn it on. Um, and I want to know if you can hear the music, and also if it's echoing into the mic. Also, if the music is annoying, I can just turn it off. And if my volume needs to be turned up as well, I can do that. I'm turning up the music. I want the music to be low, but I do want it to be loud enough that it adds to the ambiance of the stream. But I don't want to be too loud that it distracts from me. There's probably a microphone hiss. I need to actually work on that, but unless the hiss is like super annoying, I'm probably not going to do anything about it right now. There's ways to deal with that, but I would have to like sit down and look at it. Do I need to turn the mic? One person said that I should turn the mic up. Does everybody else agree with that? I probably will turn it up when I start doing stuff because I'm probably going to be less close to it. Let me see how I'm going to do this. If I put this thing here. Got a little table. I need a bigger table. Let's see. I'll just do this, I think. I'll probably do it off to the side there. Alright. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Another impromptu stream, as most of them are. But I think what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to start. My idea is to stream on Mondays because that's a good day for me. I know it's not Monday right now, but in the future, that's what I'm looking towards. I've been really wanting to. I wanted to stream more than once a week. We'll see if I do that. That's kind of a lot of. It's just an extra commitment. It's not that much of a commitment, but it is a commitment. The reason I wanted to stream more than once a week is because I wanted to stream at different times so that people in different parts of the world could tune in. Because if I stream once a week, it's always going to be at a certain time, and that's just going to completely alienate a lot of people. So I don't know, but maybe we'll start with one and then move up. I do have. I'm probably going. I have a mini. I mean, I play D&D. That's where most of my miniatures come from. However, the first thing I'm going to attempt to do is get this thing together. So you guys know that. You probably know that I'm a big fan of the Marvel movies, and I made a video about Falcon. So for my birthday, which was like 2 weeks ago, last week, 2 weeks ago, about like a week and a half ago. By the way, shout out to anyone that tuned into my stream for my birthday. It was pretty awesome. It was like 12 hours long. And by the end of it, I was pretty drunk. So I apologize if I was acting a fool. But anyway, I just made a video about Falcon. And so one of my friends for my birthday got me a Falcon figurine. It's hard to see. This is the box. But I'm going to just put this together. I've never got one of these. The friend of mine who bought this for me has a bunch of these figurines. He's like a avid collector, so he's pretty experienced with it. But I've never gotten one of these before. So we'll see how that works. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Do I need anything interested printed? I mean, I play D&D and I always need miniatures, so I wish I had a 3D printer. So I'm gonna have to, I don't have a lot of room, so I'm gonna have to figure out a way that I can set this up so that it can be seen. Sorry, there's another light here just so I can see myself. Y'all let me know if that's annoying. What kind of D&D modules or homebrews? Currently I'm doing basically a heavily modified version of a official Wizards of the Coast module. I should get terrain 3D printed. That would be dope. Yeah, I've never played Warhammer. Yeah, at that point, Andrew, I would probably just go on Amazon and just buy the minis. Because if you know where to look, and often Amazon is just a perfectly fine place to buy minis. But, you know, you can get pretty... I mean, there's, you know, like, you know, there's WizKids and Nalzers and all that stuff that just makes, like, pretty good minis for very cheap. So... But, you know, I don't know that much about 3D printing. It maybe overall it's cheaper, but I don't know if I'm ready for that. So I don't know if I don't think I need glue for this. I think it's supposed to just fit together. I'm the DM of my group. I have little experience as a player. So look at this. This is dope as fuck. One thing I really like about the Marvel Cinematic Universe is just the costumes they're just all really cool. Way cooler than the costumes in the comic, and cooler than superhero costumes in most movies. It's not about the price, it's about building friendships. Well, sometimes that's true. And this is like some heavy duty stuff. I would only pick it up if you want to do it as a hobby, not as a useful tool. Really? Interesting. So, there's no instructions for this, so I assume that it's intuitive. There's only 3 parts, so it's probably not that bad. Ooh, the wings. Here's his wings. Okay, so it's only 3 pieces, which is not bad. So yeah, it probably just fits together. I just wanted to do this real quick because I haven't put it together yet. So this goes in here. I guess. Do I need glue for this? I don't think so. Maybe I should put glue on it. Maybe ask my friend if I should use glue. Because it fits together, but it seems like you might as well put glue in it just to make it more sturdy. Like, you can see, like, it just kind of fits in. But I'm going to ask him if he usually uses glue. Well, this thing that I'm doing right now is already painted, so. All right, see what he says. But with minis, it kind of depends. Some of them you probably want to paint before you glue them, but then some of them, usually bigger ones, you often want to just paint it separately. But it kind of doesn't matter as long as it. Like, I'm not a super perfectionist when it comes to painting stuff. As long as you get the idea across for your players, you know, it's most, I don't know, it's like half functional and half collectors. And the thing about paint is you can kind of always go back and fix it. The only reason not to use glue is if you wanted to disassemble it for like a house move or something. Yeah. The thing is that if I was a perfectionist for mini painting, I would never finish anything. So the wings go like this. Which one is it like this? What's the front? What's the back? Nurgle's Rot. I haven't got that one. I do know Creationist Cat. I'm a fan of that channel. So yeah, it does fit into place without glue. It looks like it's designed to stay together. So maybe I should leave it unglued, because, you know, I don't intend to stay in this apartment forever. So yeah, like you can tell like it kind of wobbles a bit, but it stays together. And all I'm gonna do is, put it on the shelf and not touch it. So this wing kind of looks like it's not in all the way, but maybe it's supposed to be like that. I don't know. But I'm actually interested in collecting a lot of the MCU figurines because I love the design so much. Oh, what's up, Alfredo? Thanks for stopping in. But man, these things are expensive. Like the really cool, like high quality ones. Like this one alone was possibly like $100. I don't know. Maybe not, but it could. I've seen things of that nature. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna leave it unglued for now. Once I get into a more permanent space, because I could definitely, especially with these wings, I could definitely see them getting bent or broken. The wings are actually less durable than the other parts. The other parts are pretty solid, but the wings feel more plasticky. And maybe that's on purpose because, they're I don't know, they're like carbon fiber wings or something. They're supposed to be lightweight. So maybe that's maybe they're trying to be true to the universe or something. Okay. Actually don't have anywhere to put this right now. We'll put it back here, I guess. Yeah. So that's cool. All right. Now, I feel like this microphone is too much in the way. Yeah, save the box. It's probably a good idea. The mic is... Sorry if I'm making so much mic noise. I live in Memphis where my paints are tiers, and that's where the distribution centers for Games Workshop play with the minis they have there. Maybe look around, play with someone's army. It's just too expensive. Yeah, well, it's for like Warhammer for sure. I just feel like you have to buy so many minis for that game. I don't know for sure. Y'all can correct me. But D&D, if you are, first of all, you don't have to buy like 3D minis. You can buy like little stands and you just print out pictures and put it in, that works. But I strongly prefer like the 3D minis. I like kind of refuse to use the, the little 2D paper minis. But like D&D, you can kind of just get, you can get some basic stuff, You can get like one sort of humanoid mini, one sort of monstrous mini like an orc or bugbear or something. You can get like one large creature and then one huge creature if you want to do like giants and stuff. And then one for each of your players. And you probably get all that for like $30 maybe. And you can just reuse them for different things. And as you have a little extra money, you can buy, like when I first started D&D, I just kind of bought, like there's things you can buy online, just like a big tub full of miniatures. They're not like super high quality or super pretty, but you can get like a jug of them for like $20 or something. And you can just use them until you have some extra money to get something good. Like the particularly WizKids, that line has a lot of really decent already like pre-painted miniatures. Mr. Percy's, thank you for the $9.99. Keep up the good work, brother. I appreciate that. All right, so I'm just trying to find like a good angle just so you can actually see the work that I'm doing. So I might just have to pull it out. I don't really have any ways for the camera to get closer. Well, and plus the mic is just always in the way, it seems. Am I married? I'm not married. And I just want to say in advance, I'm not like some expert painter like I was saying before. I just do enough to get the point across. But if you guys have tips, feel free to let me know. And if y'all want to see, like, I don't have them with me actually, but I have like a bunch of minis. But they're over at my friend's house at the moment. So this is my palette. As you can see, it's a mess. This is another thing. I don't know anything about paint and brush care. So if you are like an artist, even if you don't paint minis, if you're a painter, you're probably going to cringe because I have no idea what I'm doing. But, you know, it works. What I'm going to work on at the moment. Another thing I'm worried about is at least one of the minis I want to paint is a spoiler for my game. And I don't think that anyone in my game is watching, but it's possible. So if anyone in my game is watching, you can let me know. But first, I'm just going to work on this. This is a fire giant, apparently. I mean, it's a fire giant. I don't like really how this looks, but there's not that many great giant minis available, which sucks. I don't understand why. Like, in terms of previous editions, there's a lot of giants that sort of fit the description of previous editions of D&D. But in terms of 5th edition, they've sort of like scaled up the size of the giants and changed, you know, how they're supposed to look and stuff like this. And there's just not that many available. Anyway, but this is the one I'm going to work on. So fire giant, it won't focus, but he's got like a little hammer or whatever you want to call it. He's got a crown. I enjoy painting the big minis. They're easier to paint. I learned painting minis with my ex yelling at me, telling me I was doing it wrong. That's a good way to learn something. That's how I learned how to play Smash Brothers. Just by people whooping my ass and telling me that I was bad. I don't know, young Ripa. How you show them from home. I try to set my phone to film, but it's a little annoying. It's annoying, but that's what I've done. But my party has recently started back meeting in person to play. Yeah, I bought this like official like beginner paint set thing, and it works, but I've used almost all of it. And I just bought, I don't know, I feel like it's controversial, but I bought this gouache or gouache. I think it's pronounced gouache or gouache. I like how the gouache looks. It gives like a really matte look, but it's kind of weird because it's like very I don't know the term, but water like reactivates it. Like it seems like infinitely. So it can be kind of weird sometimes when you're trying to paint over stuff. Anyway, so I I need to get this on a base, but I'm not gonna do that now. How would I do this? I have a anybody that does want to paint miniatures, like you definitely don't want to like hold it in your hand while you're painting, because one, you can get paint all over your hands, which is gonna happen anyway. But also, your fucking hands are just gonna be cramped up. So you want to get a base. They sell official bases, but I don't know why you would ever buy that, because you can literally just get a pill bottle or a cup and just turn it upside down and just find a way to stick it to it. I've got these little, basically like little command strips that I use. And so it's not super perfect. These might actually need to be replaced because I've used them before. And yeah, and now I can hold it much more comfortable. I mean, if you can hold, like if I hold it in my fingers start just cramping up and feeling like they're gonna fall off. Yeah, I wanted to try the Reaper Learn to Paint set. And also the Reaper Learn to Paint set comes with like instructions on how to paint, which I don't have, and I just had to kind of learn by myself. So that there's probably like really easy stuff that I don't know, because I've just had to sort of learn by watching random YouTube videos and stuff. So yeah, my buddy says he does not use glue because he likes the option of being able to put it back into the box, which is what you all have said as well. Yeah, I was considering painting more than one at a time, but a lot of my minis are not here because we play. I don't play at my house. I play at a friend's house, so I just kind of leave them over there. So I only have a couple here. So I'm just gonna do one at a time. And yeah, it's gonna kind of suck because you kind of have to wait for it to dry. Um, but that's all right. Yeah. Actually, I might go ahead and get one set up. Hold on. Where it is? I had some thingamajigs. Did I throw them away? I had like some I said you could use a pill bottle, and I actually had some pill bottles somewhere. Guess I could use this one. This is Peptid for acid reflux. But the top is like rounded, so that's not gonna work. Well, yeah, that might work. But then I have to find some things. Which I have. Cool. So I have to ask again, is anyone in my game watching the stream right now? Because otherwise there's going to be a spoiler. And one of the reasons I have this like giant cup, it's actually a takeout soup container. Is I can put like multiple one, like if I'm working with like regular small um, minis, I can put literally like four of them on there. Just rotate. It's pretty dope. Yeah, the Reaper paint set. I think it is more people like it than the D&D Nulzer's paint one, but never played D&D. I've been interested in starting. Anyone have any tips for getting started? I'm sure a lot of people in the chat do. I would say um, it's kind of hard, especially if you're an adult, to get people that will actually commit to playing. So I would say definitely don't like try to start out with some like grand adventure. Just try to make it like, hey, let's come over one day, do a one shot. Um, if you want to play, the easiest way to get to start playing is to be the DM. But the problem is most people don't want to be the DM because it's the most work. It requires it's like it's almost like a second job, you know. Um, but that's the easiest way to get a game going. That's what I did. I was just like I asked a couple friends, y'all want to play, and they were like, yeah, and we definitely wouldn't have played if I wasn't the DM. Fortunately, I wanted to be the DM. I think it's easily the most fun. But if you don't want to DM, it's a little harder, but you know it's still doable. You just got like in my town when I started playing D&D, I was surprised to find out how many people around town wanted to also play. So if you can find, you know, if you just like know where to maybe find Facebook groups or ask around, you can probably find people that want to play. Like go to a game shop. All right, so here's the other mini. This is a beholder, which is perhaps the most famous monster from D&D. It's hard to see. Um, and I might work on that in between. And yeah, some game shops will just host games. So if you don't mind playing with strangers, you can just show up and play. In many cases, you're gonna have to play with strangers anyway because it'll be like a mutual friend that just invites a bunch of people over to play. But it's also a good way to make friends. Like in my experience, most people, like every now and then, you're gonna find some shithead that plays D&D and makes it not fun for everyone. But in my experience, most people that are into D&D are pretty cool. God, I'm gonna move my hair out of the way. Yeah, it definitely depends on where you live. Depends on what country you live in. Depends on what kind of town you live in. Okay. So, fire giants. My idea of a fire giant, I think maybe a lot of people look at it differently. Um, is they have like sort of, you know, their skin is like grayish black, which is like I guess it reflects a sort of charred look, and their hair is fire red, and they wear dark armor. So that's kind of like the base line that I'm going on. And this guy has like, it looks like he has like a some kind of cloth material maybe with with armor over it. At least on the bottom. So, and he doesn't really have much skin showing either. Like literally just his face and his hands. So, probably gonna work on the clothes first. Often you work on the skin first. Just because, maybe I'll just go ahead and paint the skin. Because the thing with skin is you can always paint over it because the clothes go over the skin. And these are the little paints I have. This is kind of what they look like. These are the gouache paints. And these are the other ones, which I suppose are supposed to be like specifically for minis, but I don't know. They were cheap, so I assume they're not the super highest quality possible. Make the cloth cheetah print. I don't know if I have the painting skills for it to even do that. I mean, trust me, I end up using a lot of unpainted minis just because there's just too many to paint. Let me see how this is pronounced. So one time I went to a hobby store and I said gouache, and she corrected me.
Gouache.
Okay. So it is gouache. So that lady at the hobby store was wrong. I'm gonna rub it in her face next time I see her. The thing about painting, or at least the thing about painting with, like, thing about painting minis is, when it dries, you can always paint over it. So I'm like not worried about really making mistakes, of which I will make many. Like as I've mentioned, I'm not really a perfectionist when it comes to this. All right, but I'm trying to figure out where to start and what colors to use. I'm saying left. You could even strip it and repaint it from scratch, indeed, or you could just reprime the whole thing. Although that might start getting thick. So I think I'm just gonna use a light gray. Do I have a light? Is this white? Another thing about these paints is they have different colors. Well, these look the same, but the colors, the strips around the top of them, are supposed to tell you what color they are, but the actual paint is like a different color than the color on the strip. It's like, why did you do that? This is titanium white. I know that color from watching Bob Ross every day when I was a kid. And there's white and titanium white. I'm not sure what the difference is. Yeah, I've never tried to strip a model. By the way, I discovered your channel not long ago and I love your videos. Thank you very much, Jaded. Yeah, these I'm always interested to see what people think about the streams, because I think the streams are sort of a way for me to like interact on a personal level. And if you watch my videos, you would never know that I was into D&D. Like, you might know that I was into Marvel movies, you might know that I was into wrestling, as I mentioned every now and then. You would probably know that I'm into sitcoms, because as I talk about all the time. But you might not know that I'm into D&D or fighting games or stuff like that. So the streams are kind of where I let out the more personal side. I don't think I need too much paint. This gray is too dark. I don't like it. And then I have a bunch of paintbrushes that are kind of random, and I kind of have no idea which ones are the best to use for different situations. But you know, we're gonna go. We're just gonna make it happen. Do I have everything I need? I have water. I have a napkin. Yeah. I mean, I should mix it with white. I always try to avoid mixing paint if I can, because if I run out of it, it is like impossible to get the exact same tone again. You remind me of my brother-in-law, nerdy mixed with some cool. Yeah, I've always had a interesting relationship with the idea of being a nerd, and I made a video about it. It's called Black Nerds. Um, like in many ways, I'm very obviously, well, or at least stereotypically nerdy. Like I like Dungeons and Dragons, and I like, um, like science and fucking stuff like that. I was gonna say video games, but I feel like video games have evolved beyond being nerdy at this point. Um, but a lot of nerdy stuff, and I'm open to all that kind of stuff as well. But also, I'm into stuff that is not stereotypically nerdy. Like I love sports. Nerds are often associated with being like socially awkward, but I don't really have that. I'm I'm like, I can be like reserved and quiet, but I'm not social. I don't have social anxiety really. I think I put way too much paint here. Which is good because I was worried about running out of it, so that probably won't happen. Um, so yeah, like I don't know anything about engineering, but I would love to learn about it. I think I like learning stuff, and I like learning about different cultures and subcultures, and I think that in and of itself is kind of nerdy. Um, Also, these all these like nulzers are supposed to be pre-primed. Sometimes they're not like well primed, but you can usually just bypass that by putting a lot of paint on it. um, but that's another thing is you generally want to make sure your minis are primed, which just essentially means putting down a coat of paint that dries and it allows the next coat to stick to it better. Because just like regular plastic or whatever they're made out of does not like receive paint very well. It doesn't stick very well. So you can prime applying it like paint, but there's also like spray paint. You can use like spray can and stuff like that. Um, yeah, I thinned it with water. It's hard for me to get the webcam to focus because there's this other light over here. That's not helping. And you see, I've got the hand painted. But yeah, he doesn't have much skin showing, so just gonna like get his hands painted gray. There's even might be like a little blue. Well, it could be like gray or like bluish gray, but I think it's supposed to be like a charred look, so it's like a grayish black color. But yeah. Yeah. What's up, Chris? I just kind of randomly decided to stream. Yeah, the campaign I'm running right now is is very much to do with giants. So I have a lot of big giant minis. I should make a video on pretty privilege. Is that like the privilege that attractive people have? When you're painting stuff gray, sometimes it's hard to tell whether you have actually painted it or not because the thing is already gray. I've been meaning to get a new webcam, but it is kind of impossible to do that right now because everyone bought all of them so they could work from home on Zoom and shit. But I've had this webcam for like 5 years, but it's still pretty good. I wish that I had a way to like show you, like have a more up close view, but I don't really have that. I don't think. Yeah, I don't have a way to do that. I'll look into it in the future though. Okay. So by the way, I have this other mini. I should probably show that one because it's fucking awesome. Um, yeah, sometimes webcams can be pretty difficult. Um, this is another mini, but it came pre-painted, but it's a pretty high quality, good looking miniature. And this is another fire giant, but this is kind of like a boss fire giant. But I'm kind of using this as reference for like what colors to use. But this mini's fucking cool. He's got a giant flaming sword and fireball in his hands. Dope. But he's like the boss fire giant. Um. So let's see. Um. So I know the armor should be like maybe even a darker gray. This guy has kind of like a like a copper gray thing going on. Silver. I also have silver. I don't know if there's any left, but I have this that D&D set that I bought came with the silver and it's actually like shiny, so it makes things actually look metallic, which is dope. I need to make sure I buy more of that before I run out. At that size, do they even qualify as minis? Well, they are miniature versions of the thing they're supposed to represent. Let's see. So he's got kind of like this little skirt thing on, and it doesn't look like it's metal. So I'm trying to decide how I'm gonna do that. Like maybe that's brown, and but he has like more metallic colors over it. And the thing about the silver is you can mix it with other colors to make metallic versions of other colors. So I can do like a metallic brown or something. That might be tight. And he has like a rope around his waist as well. And this thing's not staying on that well, which kind of sucks. I just need to replace the command strips basically because I reuse them because they stay sticky for a while. Silver and blue, yeah, that sounds cool. I'm trying to envision my head. So I think what I'm gonna go with is like a brownish, like a brown cloth, and then metallic with a little brown over it, maybe. Or yeah, I think that works. And like I said, you can always change it. That's the beauty of fucking painting. Let's see what kind of browns I got though. Do I want it to be dark brown or lighter brown? I don't think I want it to be. Well, actually, I kind of like the idea of this burnt sienna. That might work. I'm kind of interested to see what the, or maybe I'll just make it silver. I don't know. We'll see. This is why I can't be a perfectionist, because I will be just too indecisive, and eventually I will just have to make a choice, and go with it. All right, Burke. Thanks for stopping by. You got to run too, Jaded. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the tips. Oh, I thought you were saying you're leaving. Sorry. Yeah. I used to be a very indecisive person, but I just basically learned that if you can't make a decision, then it doesn't matter. Just make a random decision, and that's better than making no decision. I truly believe making a random decision is better than making no decision. Because even if this mini turns out being awful, who cares? It's just a mini. Life. It's not the end of the world. Um. Oh, another thing I didn't mention. I mean, I'm speaking as if there's people here that are interested in painting minis. Not that any of you told me that you were, but just in case you are, another thing that's good to do is to wash the mini before you paint it. Get the dirt off of it. And again, it just makes it easier for the paint to stick to it. In my experience, there's probably other reasons to do it as well. So I'm starting to just put it some brown or burnt sienna. Melissa, thank you for the $3 Canadian. Yeah, flipping. I mean, that's the same thing as making a random decision. I fully back that. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, whatever you got to do. I actually think I have another webcam somewhere. I don't know where it is at the moment, but I think that if I plug that in, I could have two feeds at the same time, and then I could show you like a different angle. But I, maybe later I can look for that, but I'm not really super worried about it at the moment. Yeah, I think washing your minis helps in my experience, and I've seen other people recommend it. But if your process works for you, who am I painting now? This is a giant, and I don't know if I have any regular. Just in case for those that don't play tabletop games, this is like roughly the size of. This is what we consider like a normal sized humanoid person. So you know, maybe 5 to 6 feet tall, and this is a giant. This is like the size difference. So like if your players are used to like just playing with these, and you drop one of these on the board, like it's like a big deal. It'll get a reaction. And I'm still. It kind of sucks because these things are kind of not sticky as I want, so I'm still kind of having to hold it with my hand, but it's still better than holding the whole thing in your hand. I know who Tim Pool is. I feel like you ask me that every stream, Andy. Do you not hear me when I answer? Or are you just trying to get me to acknowledge you? Do I play an instrument? No, not really. I used to tell myself that I was going to learn how to play the guitar. And I would like practice on and off, but I just eventually just kind of gave up on it. And at this point, I don't really care that much about it anymore. But I have a lot of guitar. I have like 4 guitars, which I never play. I've pretty much just semi given them to my brother, even though he, I don't know, I kind of mess around with him because he tells people that they're his guitars, but it's like, no, those are my guitars, dog. I'm just letting you use them. Even though even though I never use them and kind of have no intention to. It's just cool to have stuff, I guess. So at this point, like, you know, you're painting and you're gonna get paint in places that you don't want it, but it's okay because you can just paint over it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So I don't know if you can tell. You can see how it's like shinier on the back. When it dries, it gives like this sort of matte look, which I really like. And it's just maybe it's just that's what gouache does, or maybe it's just this paint, but I just like it. Um, and then the thing that I hate the most about painting minis is getting the under part. Maybe I should have tried to do that first, but it kind of looks pretty bootleg if you don't paint it. So kind of got to get in there. Gouache does. Okay. Yeah, gouache is dope. Um, I feel like I have seen that suggestions that you're not supposed to use gouache to paint minis, but I've had good success with it. I'm just mad at that lady at Hobby Lobby who told me that it was pronounced gauche. She literally corrected me because I was like asking her like, well, she didn't like correct me, but I was like, where can I find the gouache or something like that, and she was like, oh yeah, the gauche is in that section over there. It's like, oh, my bad. And I figured she knew more than me because she worked at a fucking hobby store. So yeah, now I'm just trying to get the under part, which is not as bad as it could be because of the way this mini is shaped. A lot of minis are clearly printed without the painter in mind. There's a lot of hard to reach places. But this one is not too bad. Favorite anime? I don't really watch anime. This is kind of a behind the scenes, but I am working on another channel, another YouTube channel. Well, I have a second YouTube channel, which is unused, and basically I'm working on rebranding and reviving it. And one of the things that I want to do on it is like reactions to anime from the perspective of someone who doesn't like anime and doesn't watch anime. So that might happen. All right, so I've got like this skirt thing painted. So I'm trying to see what's going on with the upper body. It does look like it's just all armor, kind of. But maybe it's not. Like I think the whole outfit is just kind of like a more fabric or cloth or leather and then a bunch of armor pieces over it. So I think it's like that on the top as well. So I'm just going to go with that for now. But I do want the overall vibe of the character to be a very dark and fiery. So I want to make sure that that the colors kind of make sense. The non-anime reviewer, yeah. Gouache. Yeah, I need to go to the hobby stores more. They often have really good deals on just random art supplies and stuff. Put some hentai on, maybe. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that. And he has a rope around his waist as well. So I'm probably just gonna do that a more or less reddish brown. And then also his hair as a fire giant. Fire giants have like fiery red hair. They are definitely gingers. So I gotta make sure I do that. I probably aren't you supposed to like wash your brush after a while? Like you're not supposed to keep painting for too long without washing. Like as I said at the top of the stream, I don't know anything about painting or paint care or paintbrush care. I don't know how you're supposed to wash them or keep them from getting fucked up. But most of my paintbrushes are cheap too, and there's definitely a wide range of paintbrush quality. Some of them seem to be pretty shit, while some seem to be indestructible. A lot of my supplies were given to me by my friend, who is an artist. She kind of just gave me her old shit that she doesn't use because she's graduated to like higher quality stuff, basically, which I am okay with because it has worked out for me, and I don't know any better, you know. Um, Yeah, I mean, I would definitely wash between changing colors, but I've just been painting with this brown for a while. I'm not really sure, but it's all good. This is like, you know, taking it. I don't know. You can always relate things back to politics, but I don't want to come off as like someone who has a lot of money because I don't. But I do know that I can afford paintbrushes, so I kind of don't care if I mess them up. But that like if there's someone who like has no money but they want to paint, they're probably gonna be like, I want to make sure I don't mess up my paintbrushes because I can't afford to be buying paintbrushes all the time. And that's just it's little things like that that is the issue with poverty. Just the combination of just a lack of self-determination and ability to achieve the quality of life that you want. Yeah, I mean, I definitely have like favorite brushes, and I would probably be a little upset if they like got destroyed or something. But I just gotta find that brush and buy it again. Maybe you got some super rare paintbrush. I don't know how it works, but maybe that exists. See, the thing about this is the way I envisioned this was not it being mostly brown, and it's going to end up being mostly brown, but maybe the brown with the metal over it is still going to look cool. Another cool thing about the bigger minis is you often don't have to wait around for things to dry because there's so much stuff to paint. You're usually like things are usually done painting before you get around to doing anything with them, or done drying. I mean, with smaller minis, sometimes you have to completely set them aside and wait for things to paint. Someone earlier was talking about how, is this even a mini at this point because it's so big? But I just bought a rock mini, and that thing's big as fuck. And if you don't know what a rock is in the D&D lore, it is basically just a huge bird. It's like a bird with like 100-foot wingspan, and the mini's like that big, like it's insane. What's up, Julia? I'm I'm thinking I might do a copper look with the metal. I'm not sure. Yeah, I can show you a dragon mini that I have. It's not quite as big as the rock mini, but it's still pretty fucking big, dude. Um, so I gotta paint under his arm here because I believe that is also the leather. Oh shit. Fucking dropping the paintbrush. Oh yeah, Treant. I don't have any Treant minis yet. I want to get one. Because there is actually a major character in my story that is a Treant. But really had no reason to get a mini for it because he's kind of friendly. They don't fight him, but maybe one day they'll fight like alongside him. Just trying to fill in like the little spots that I've missed. This is like a really detailed mini, so there's like a lot of like texture, and sometimes the paint doesn't seep into the texture like I want. So you can see like I've got the brown. I will show you all the dragon mini though. It's actually it's not broken, but I need to like glue the wings back on. So this guy's pretty big. The wing kind of fell off, but it should be able to just be glued back on. So yeah, this is supposed to be basically an adult black dragon, although I think it could even be bigger. But yeah, they're like kind of like slender, long dragons. And he's kind of. I actually painted this one. You can. The paint. I feel like the paint job could be better, but it's kind of just got like a black with like green tint on it, which is pretty cool. Oh yeah, I put the wing in wrong. Sorry. That's what it should be. That's what it should look like with the wings on, right? Yeah, ancient dragons are huge. Or gargantuan, as they would be described in 5e. Okay, so I'm going to start doing the armor. And if you also, I don't know if you can tell, but on certain parts of the armor, there's like little designs on them. And I'm trying to see what color to make those. Like maybe just straight gold or something. So let's see. I know I'm going to use the silver, but I kind of want it to be like a reddish brownish silver, which is so like copperish. I don't have a copper paint, but I can probably make one. But I don't want it to be too copper. I want it to be more silver than copper, so I'm just going to make sure I use the correct ratio. Funfetti color. I'll put a lot of that. Let's do that. And then put like a drop of red? No? Maybe red. I mean, they are fire giants, right? That's too red. But is it too red? Yeah, I do need to get brass and gold paint. I'm gonna try. I don't know about that. Hold on. Maybe something darker. Or maybe I could just use the same thing. But I just don't want everything to look brown. Maybe just for uniformity. Golden brown makes a better copper or bronze and silver and brown. Fair. Um, Actually not sure how this is going to work because I'm mixing two different types of paint. But you know, it's all good in the hood. Yeah, it's not too bad, right? It is getting a little more red than I want, but that still probably will look okay. All right. Like I said, as always, you can paint over it if I don't like it. See, I feel like it should not be this red. I feel like it should be more metallic or more like silver grayish. It's hard to tell. Like it does have the metallic look to it, but I don't think I want it to be that red. So, and also another thing I could do is paint it silver and then put like a wash of a different color on top of it. When did T1 do you grow his hair like that? That is a hell of a sentence. Are you asking me how I got my hair to do this? Because that's just time and being black, I guess. Alright, so for now I'm just going to try silver. And even silver for armor is kind of not ideal because you know, armor can be like rusted and old looking. It's not necessarily supposed to look, you know, like shiny unless it's a certain type of armor. But I do just like it just makes things look like they're made of metal, which is, you know, it's kind of what I want. Yeah, maybe brown or yellow. I don't think I want it to be gold or to look gold. And this is just, if this is like just silver, which also doesn't look correct, but I like it better. I'm going to try the silver and then try to put a wash on it and see what happens. And then we will see what happens. Yeah, I've been told many times that I look like the guy from The Matrix. His character's name is Link, and the actor's name is Harold Perrineau. And he's in a lot of stuff, and depending on which of his things people have seen, is the comment that I get. So it's like, you look like the guy from Romeo and Juliet, or you look like the guy from Oz, or you look like the guy from Lost, or you look like the guy from The Best Man. I assume he's not talking about the albinos. I assume he's talking about Link from the Matrix sequels. But yeah, we're gonna go forward with this and see what happens. I do need to paint the rope around his waist also. I'm not super worried about that. I can do that last, probably, to be honest. Although if I mess up, I'll have to end up painting whatever I mess up again. Another thing I could have done is look up, like do a Google search of people who actually own this particular mini and see how they painted it. But I didn't do that. That may have helped. But you know, I'll do my own interpretation. You look like the guy from T1J. I also get that a lot. You know, like, I'm not famous enough to get recognized in public that much, but it does happen every once in a blue moon, and it's pretty wild. People are like, "Are you that guy from YouTube?" It's like, what? Actually, this doesn't look too bad. I do want to put some more color over it, but yeah, I'm okay with it. And I don't know if I showed y'all this, but I have a bunch of paintbrushes. Um, just kind of thrown in a cup there. Again, not sure if that's how you're supposed to store paintbrushes, but what are you gonna do? But this is like for most things, this is my favorite one. I have some bigger ones if I want to paint, like for example, when I paint that rock, I'm gonna need to cover a lot of space all at once. So I've got some bigger ones for that kind of stuff. Okay. This guy also has a crown. I need to see what color I want to paint the crown. In college, someone came up to me to tell me she liked my videos. I melted. Yeah, it's a pretty good feeling. It's also cool if you like meet someone who makes videos that you actually like. I remember when I went to VidCon, it was like the best weekend of my life. So I got to meet so many people that I like truly was a fan of. I even got to hang out with I got to hang out with Tessa Violet. I don't know if you know who that is, but she's kind of an old school YouTuber, and her channel used to be called Mika Kitty, and I was a huge fan of her back in the day. And I actually got to like hang out with her and like eat lunch with her and shit, and it was dope. It was amazing. And she's like super nice. She's like one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. I don't know if this other boot is dry yet. I'm gonna give it more time. It probably isn't. Um, I'm kind of scared to do the hair because I know it's gonna get all over the place and I'm gonna have to fix a bunch of stuff. But that's how it is. That's how it goes. So I don't know how much you can tell, but you see I've got some of the metallic elements painted, and it doesn't actually look as bad as I thought it was gonna look. But I do might want to add like reddish or orange or something tint to it. But I think this is actually coming out okay. Like sometimes when I paint a mini, it'll just look like trash. I'm like, well, that was bad. But this one is coming out okay, and I'm glad as the one that I'm streaming, it's coming out okay. Yeah, Tessa Violet is mostly a musician. She just happens. She has a YouTube channel, but the YouTube channel mostly exists to promote her music. But she, she also vlogs and stuff all the time. Back in the day, like 10 years ago, she was a vlogger. I think she still did music, but over the past few years, she has pretty much blown up in the music scene, and I would describe her as more of a musician than a YouTuber at this point. But in case anyone was wondering if she's like actually a nice person in real life, she definitely is. All right, I need a fire red color. Vermilion red? Is that a good color? It looks good. It is kind of, like fire is red, but it's also kind of orange. So maybe I need a orange. Scarlet red, that's like more blood color, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know about that one. I have orange, but it's not quite an orange. See, that's not. Oh, that's apricot. That's not right at all. I have yellow ochre, which is just kind of yellow. There's no actual orange in this thing. What the hell? You're gonna give me like 24 colors and none of them are orange. I do think this vermilion red is good though. That should work. Actually, I don't know. I might put some yellow in it. It's like too red. Yeah, I don't want it to be. I want it to be a little orange. So I'm gonna put a drop of yellow in that shit. I'm not sure why there is no orange in this pack, but orange is like. I feel like orange is a underrated color. In fact, orange is probably my favorite color. If you couldn't tell by all of my branding and my channel page, even my stream layout, everything is orange. Because it's a good color. I really like it. I'm not a fan of Candace Owens. My mom, shared a Candace Owens video with me one time, and I was like, "Ma, surely you just." Turns out she didn't really agree with what she was saying, but she just kind of wanted to get my thoughts. But it's like, don't be sharing Candace Owens with me. Love orange. I like the I'm a big fan of just autumn colors, fall colors, nature colors, I guess you could say. So I love orange and yellow and red and green and brown. Those are like my favorite colors. But the one that I think is just the most interesting and coolest is orange. And for all my sports fans, you might know that it's kind of a conflict in my life because I'm a fan of Alabama, and Alabama's color is red, which I'm down, crimson to be exact. But our rivals, Auburn, their color is orange and blue. And blue, you can keep your blue. I'm not super into blue. I love orange, so I'm constantly having to explain myself to Alabama fans. Explain myself to Alabama fans. It's like I just like the color. It's okay. Like this man even has a ear. It's like they took the time to detail this man's ear. I still think his hair is a little too red, but we might just have to go with it. I should have put more yellow in. Like this is kind of the hair, um, but like I don't know. He kind of looks like Ronald McDonald, which is not what I'm going for. But honestly, once it dries, it might look cool. Once it gets like matte and stuff. But right now it's all shiny and looks like looks like Twizzlers or something. Well, I just said that I'm not a big fan of blue, but I do think that I look good when I wear blue. So a lot of times, what you'd wear is not necessarily the color that you think is the best looking. I think I'm just going to paint. Well, no, it's all right. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm just gonna paint his ear red, so I don't have to worry about it. But I might as well just paint it. It's not that big of a deal. Okay. I used to be obsessed with blue. I have a buddy that really likes the color blue. Like he's serious about it, and to the extent that I think that it he's like unironically bummed out that I'm not a fan of blue. Like I think when he first heard that, like it kind of ruined his day. And like everything he owns is blue. All his clothes are blue. He decorates his house blue. So yeah, some people are super into stuff like that. If I can't truly enjoy football, am I a bad guy for not liking it? No, I mean honestly, the people who don't watch football are probably more correct than the people who do because it's a pretty barbaric sport. If you don't like football just because you don't like sports in general, I mean that's also okay. But that I don't understand that because I think sports are amazing. It's just like the true competition of it's like the true spirit of human competition. It is the most pure example of competition that I can think of. But a lot of people don't like sports, so I'm sure there's something that I'm missing. Okay. What am I gonna do now? I guess I'll paint his crown the metallic color as well. I truly think that someone is going to die in the middle of a football game. In fact, I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet because I mean people have come close, um, and maybe it has happened in like some local game that I don't know of, but not in the NFL or mainstream college football. That, as far as I know. I did a video about that a long time ago. I like golf. I just like sports in general. I like when people are able to do stuff with their bodies and minds that I am unable to do myself. It's pretty wild. It's very entertaining to me. So I kind of like any kind of competition like that. And I'm in general I'm into competitive games like of any kind. Like earlier I said I love fighting games and that's part of the reason why. I just love competitive games. I'm into chess, I like poker. See, so now I'm getting into the parts where I'm trying to do the little parts and I'm like messing stuff up, but eventually I probably just need to get a smaller brush and go and fix some of that stuff. That's not that big a deal. Yeah, I'm into League of Legends. Um, so I want to figure out. I guess I'll go ahead and paint his weapon, which probably I will just do. I assume his weapon is made out of stone, so I'll probably just do gray, right? Just your basic gray. I don't. It could be metal. It might look cooler if it looked metallic, but I don't think it's supposed to be metal. Yeah, I would never play football, and I would if I ever have kids, I will not allow them to play football. I mean, I'd be hesitant to allow them to play many sports. But the two that are definitely off the table are football and boxing. Because it's like you're 100% going to get brain damage. It's like not even a question. Iron, it could be iron. I think I'm just going to paint it the basic matte gray and see how that looks. I'll make the gray a little bit darker than his skin tone so it doesn't like blend in. And I can maybe add some like details to it. That's actually how you set it off. Like you can do these, you can do like the base paint and it looks okay, but it's those little details that really makes it pop out and look cool. So you just have to find opportunities to do it. The problem is the details are like hard to do good sometimes because they're like really small and sometimes it's hard to figure out. And I'm, like I said, I'm not a painting expert, but I like doing it. It's actually pretty, it's like therapeutic to paint these minis. So like you can just kind of like put on a podcast or something and just paint. It's pretty cool. I figured I would just try streaming and see if any people would be into watching that. I want to do more just kind of like activities during the stream. I'm probably going to start doing some gaming on stream if anybody's into that. I know a lot of y'all aren't interested in gaming, but it might happen because it's a thing that I'm into. And like I was saying before, this is kind of part of the purpose of the stream is to introduce you to me as a person and the things that I'm into because I'm into other things other than politics and social issues and sitcoms. Yeah, I mean I'd have to look into martial arts, but definitely not boxing. I know a lot of people that do like jujitsu, and it seems like it has really added a lot of fulfillment to their lives, but it could also be dangerous for you. So The miniature I'm painting now is for D&D. Yes, this is a giant, as you can see by how big it is. Yeah, I mean, even in the NFL, like it sucks when you're talking about kids, like literal high school kids out there getting concussions and stuff. Even like college kids, they're, between the ages of like 18 and 22. Their bodies are not fully developed yet, but they're out there banging against each other. Which sounded like an innuendo, but I didn't mean it that way. All right, so essentially, the last thing just to get the base color for is these little designs on the like the wristbands, and there's some on his shoulder. I don't know if you can tell. What I want to do is get a silver outline and then paint the inside. So actually, I might use that reddish one for that reddish, metallic reddish one, because that might look cool. So I might actually use that paint that I used. And I will do the outline after that's dried, so I can just paint it over it. Yeah, I could do a League of Legends stream. The thing about League of Legends is I'm not good at it. Well, I'm okay at it. But, I don't know. I'm not good at any games, really, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Nathan Hargraves, thank you for the $5. Is the A for Australian? Keep up the lovely work. Appreciate it. I love how Stream Elements translates how much it amounts to in US dollars. That's hilarious. I honestly think that I'm okay at League of Legends, but my rank doesn't. My rank's not very high, and like I've put a lot of effort into learning how to play League of Legends. Let's put it that way. Because as I've said, I like competition. I like learning stuff. So when I want to learn how to play a game, I pretty much go all out. I'm subscribed to like 50 different League of Legends channels. I watch educational League of Legends content. So I'm like really invested in trying to learn how to play, and I think I have gotten better. But I still haven't gotten past gold, which kind of sucks. But maybe I can this season. Who knows? Okay, let's see. How does that look? Yeah, that's not bad. Is it? Actually, once I get the outlines on it, it'll probably look tight. D&D Sports. I'm unranked. I'm a support main. And I'm actually an ADC main, so that's interesting that. Or it's, I guess it's serendipitous. I also think part of it is because I play ADC, and it's really hard to impact the game as ADC sometimes. Because if you get close to anybody, you just die immediately. Alright, Jay, thanks for stopping by the stream. And I specifically tried to make sure that the music was copyright free. Hopefully that is correct. Because I don't know if they still do this, but like, you know, maybe like 5 years ago or something, I streamed and I was playing copyrighted music, and they just legit shut the stream off while I was streaming. So, but I used this for 12 hours. I used like the same playlist for 12 hours on my birthday, so I think it's good. But I don't know if you guys keep up with Twitch.tv. A lot of them have been dealing with copyright takedowns lately, just kind of out of the blue. And it's kind of interesting because it's like, you know, YouTubers have been dealing with that since the beginning. I don't know. I think the music industry is just really stuck in the dark ages. Because, look, I understand intellectual property and I back intellectual property. Like, for example, I wouldn't want someone to run a stream that just played my videos nonstop, like a 24-hour stream of my videos that, you know, I didn't give them permission to do. I wouldn't want that because that's my stuff. I worked hard on that. But, for example, if that person contacted me and worked out a licensing deal or something, and maybe it could work. And there's no reason why all these big record labels should not either work out something with YouTube or even the creators to where they could use their music or use certain amounts of their music, or even let them use it for free because it's free promotion. Like, the gaming industry has figured this out a long time ago. They let people play their games in full on YouTube and streaming, even though that's technically copyright infringement, but they know it's free advertising. But the music industry is just stuck in the dark ages. The movie industry is pretty bad too, but the music industry is the number one offender. I hope I didn't put any paint in my hair just now. All right, what do we? All right, so I'm gonna wait for that to dry. And then I'm going to draw like some little outlines on it. Hopefully this boot has dried now that I can paint over it. If not, it might be bad. Yeah, literally, some games only are on the map because of streamers and YouTubers. Nobody bought fucking Five Nights at Freddy's until Markiplier and all the other YouTubers started streaming it. No one would have even known what the hell that was. What kind of music do I listen to? I am open to pretty much any kind of music. There's music from most genres that I like. If I had to pick a favorite genre, probably hip hop and like classic rock music, like old rock music. Classic rock is kind of a dubious term because it involves a lot of stuff, but you know, like I like Queen, and I also like 90s grunge music, but I think that's mostly nostalgia because that's what I grew up on. Okay. Okay, actually, I might change his weapon a different color because I think it's too close to the color of his skin. Or I can change the color of his skin. Yeah, like, well, I like a lot of 80s music too. But you know, like if you ever listen to the radio, there's probably a classic rock station that whatever something that would be on that station, I probably like it. All right, Seneca, thanks for dropping by even for a minute. I actually have a couple, not necessarily this model, but I have a couple more fire giants coming that I also will need to paint. So maybe we can do that another day. I'm trying to see what I want to do. Really, what I need to be doing is just cleaning stuff up, but that's annoying. How am I feeling right now? It's kind of a rough time in America. Um, in the very current moment, I feel okay, but just overall in general, it's definitely a pretty it's a very serious time. But I'm hopeful, and the things that I've seen have made me hopeful. So overall, I think I'm positive. I need brown. I'm gonna paint the rope around his waist. Actually, this might be empty. It is empty. Okay. Let's see. We've got this burnt umber. That might work. It's a little dark, but that's fine. Electric Low Main, thank you for the $10. What up, T1J? How you doing today? What do you like about the Janelle Monet Dirty Computer video? She's an amazing artist. Um, well, I'm doing good. I don't know. The Janelle Monet video was legendary. It was like one of the best things I've seen. Um, First of all, the songs, all of the songs were amazing. I hadn't listened to that album, but every song on the video is amazing, like really good. Like every song is at least an 8 out of 10. And some of them are like a 10 out of 10. Um I like that the video was unashamedly like non-heterosexual and unashamedly non-monogamous. That was pretty cool because you don't see too much media that is like just straight up depicting polyamory and not even like drawing attention to it, just saying this is the thing, this is what's happening. So I thought that was cool and something you don't see. And then just overall, like the story of it wasn't like super interesting, but it was interesting just to see like where it was going. I was actually like invested. It's like, oh man, are they gonna win? Are they gonna get back together or whatever? Also, it had Tessa Thompson in it. I'm pretty sure Tessa Thompson is like top 5 coolest people on planet Earth. Um, have always had the red strip in my dreads. I haven't always had it. I got it in September, I believe. Okay, what did I say I was gonna do? Oh, the rope. This is dark, but I think it'll work. I don't know if this brush is good for what I'm doing right now. Wish I could send you money, but I currently have $20 to my name. Sorry. I mean, that's fine. There's no reason to apologize because you're not doing something wrong by not giving me money. So there's absolutely no reason to apologize. Um, yeah, if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, it is basically a visual album by Janelle Monáe. It's called Dirty Computer. It's like, I think it's about 45 minutes long because it's a visual album. I don't think it has every song on the album on it, but it is um, essentially a long music video that has several songs in it. And it's fucking amazing. Like, it changed my life. It came out, I think, in 2018, but I just saw it, like, 3 days ago for the first time. And it was amazing. So, and I've already been a big fan of Janelle Monáe. So, I knew I would like it, but I didn't expect to like it quite as much as I did. I always said that I feel about Janelle Monáe how other people feel about Beyonce. That's kind of that's always been sort of my little quip, and now it's been even confirmed even more. Got to drop here. I'm new to the channel and really like it. Thanks for sharing content. Can't wait to see the finished giant and more to come. Appreciate that. Electro Man, thank you for the 5 more. You and I like WWE, but I have a hard time reconciling the owner's love of Trump and portions of the fan base that are racist, toxic. What do you think? Um, in my opinion, like, if the rule is I can't allow things that are run by or liked by awful people, then there's very few things that I'm going to be able to like. And I just think that I don't think that's fair to me or anybody else. So I don't base my support of things based on. I judge my support of things based on the thing. And honestly, WWE, the content is sometimes problematic too. But when it's good, it's really good. And I'm not, I can't just have everything that I like ruined for me. That's my stance on that sort of thing. In certain cases, it might be ruined for me because I've talked about how I really can't listen to R. Kelly anymore. But I don't blame anyone that still chooses to listen to R. Kelly. Do the things that make you happy. Just try to be a good person. Do I date outside of my race? Yeah, race is not really a factor in terms of how I decide who I decide to date. Have I listened to Mad Cats? Nope. Okay. There's the belt. At this point, it's mostly just going to be cleaning things up, which is the least interesting part to me, but you got to do it. You got to do it. I mean, I guess you don't got to do it, but I'm going to do it. Yeah, Janelle Monáe is amazing. Why is it our race always make it a point to tell us don't date out of your race? Well, I don't think it's Um, I don't think it's fair to tell people just you're not allowed to date out your race. I do think that um, there is a point that black people have, especially black women, insofar as black people are considered less attractive and less desirable than other races. And so I can see how it could be annoying to them when people who are black choose to date people who aren't black, because it just kind of like spits in their face. But I don't think that that then lets you tell people that they're not allowed to date outside their race. Like, people are attracted to different people for different reasons. People meet different types of people for different reasons. People fall in love for different reasons. I just don't think it's a very cool thing to say. But I understand the frustration. I've not watched professional wrestling in 40 years. Um I grew up watching wrestling, and then I got back into it around 2013, and I've pretty much been watching it pretty consistently since then. I like wrestling. I like it. Um like I said, it's not perfect. There's definitely some weird stuff that happens on there, but overall I think it's good. Um I love my race of women, but honestly they don't like me. See, I think that's a thing you probably shouldn't say either. I'm interested to hear why you think that. But a lot I hear black people say that a lot, and usually it's based on like just sort of mistaken and harmful ideas about women. I know you mentioned polyamory quite a bit. Are you that now, like in terms of relationship philosophy? Um, I think that as a human being in the world, especially as a human being in Alabama, United States, I pretty much have to be open to monogamy if I want to improve my chances at, finding a life partner, which is something that I am interested in. But overall, monogamy does not make a lot of logical sense to me. And in practice, it's often like very toxic and like stupid to me. Where people are like, you looked at another woman and I'm mad at you for that. Like, what? That's fucking stupid. That's like literally stupid. Or like you're supposed to pretend that, for example, you're supposed to pretend that, for one, you are not and will never be and cannot be attracted to another person. And then just the fact that um it's just kind of based on this sort of romanticized idea that's not doesn't make much sense. Like, sure, there are people who are monogamous and in love and stay in love forever, but like, what are the real odds that there's just one single person is going to fulfill every emotional need that you have throughout the rest of your life? That just seems so unlikely to me. But in my experience, at least, most people are monogamous, and most people want monogamous relationships. And if that's what it takes to find somebody cool that will go through life with me, um, I'm willing to figure that out. I think I'm a smart and easygoing enough person to figure it out. But I don't know. I have said before that I am polyamorous, but I don't know what I am. I'm just a dude that has some views on things that likes hanging out with people. Like they say, I don't talk ghetto, you don't act hood. Well, you just have to find different women because there are plenty of black women who don't want hood dudes. You just have to find them. Something tells me that you're probably young too, and that's also something that a lot of young women get over after a while. But even when I was young, I went to an all black high school and all black middle school, and I feel like in middle school, I had trouble, getting girls to like me. But then in high school, it kind of all changed. I kind of sort of got a confidence about myself, and I've never been like a hood dude. I don't think. I used to like try to fit in and stuff, but you just have to find the right people. And honestly, there's probably people in your circle that probably aren't into that. You just haven't looked. And also, you got to ask yourself, maybe there are girls that would like someone like you, but you personally have passed them over because you think that you want a certain type of girl. You want a certain type of girl that may be into a certain thing that you're not. Because that guys do that a lot where it's like, well, girls don't like me, but it's like, well, maybe that girl will like you. You just don't like her because you want some kind of like, you just basically you want it all. You want the girl that is, you know, pretty and fashionable, but also the girl that'll play video games with you, but also the girl that will have sex with you whenever you want. Like, sometimes you have to realize that you got to figure out what your priorities are. Well, parents can be weird too, and I can't really tell you how to deal with your parents because different parents react in different ways to things. But at the end of the day, you are your own person, and you do deserve to make your own choices. And sometimes you have to just let your parents down in order to do what you need to do in life. But I'm not really, I don't feel comfortable telling you like what to say to your parents because different parents will react differently to different things. Let's see what we got here. See, it's coming together. It's hard to see the colors, but it's coming together. Right now, I'm just kind of cleaning certain things up. Um, my mom also freaked out when I told her I was an atheist, but we're cool now. So sometimes people get over stuff also. But some parents are not as understanding as others, and I get that for sure. I kind of want to change his skin tone. Yeah, the hair, uh, I like I predicted. Once the hair dried, it looks better now. When it was like shiny and stuff, when I first applied it, I didn't like it, but I think it's cool. But I kind of want to make his skin darker and more, like it looks kind of bluish to me now. So I feel like I need to add maybe white or black. I mean, but I don't want it to be black. So maybe I just need to mix my own gray instead of using the gray that is in here, because this one looks bluish to me. So you guys aren't spiritual. I am not spiritual, but I understand that a lot of non-religious people are. Yeah. Um I need to buy more paints. I'm just gonna try to mix my own gray here with just mix black and white instead of using that one. And that way I can make it less blue. Burns hair from Simpsons gray. Where's my black though? Oh. It's called noir. I don't know if that's the same as black, but it looks black. Problem is, even if I put a little drop, it will drastically darken this thing. But I might want that. I am a pretty hardcore atheist, you might say. I definitely put way too much in here. And I'm also pretty hostile to religion. I think religion is bad for the world. I used to talk about it a lot in my videos, but I don't really anymore. Because I don't think it's like the biggest problem we need to be focusing on right now. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think like a lot of people who are like my age or like 20s, late 20s, early 30s, we sort of we came up in the era the era of like Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens and stuff. And those people really sort of informed our beliefs as we grew up. And, you know, after a while, a lot of us realized, wow, these guys are like kind of assholes. And I think that may have softened a lot of people's views on religion. But for me, I mean, I acknowledge that a lot of the stuff they were saying was not great, but I still think religion is bad. And I think that the left in general has softened up on religion, but I haven't. See, Carl Sagan would have been a better option than fucking Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens. I think Carl Sagan was like a little bit in my time, but Chad Atchison, thank you for the $20. Hola everyone, I hope everyone is safe and healthy. Same to you, man. I hope you're safe and healthy. I am currently safe and healthy for now. I kind of want to change. Well, actually, I don't know. We'll see. My spouse watched as a kid the 700 Club until they said Halloween was evil and D&D was making kids Satanists. Yeah. My mom was like that. My mom is still kind of freaked out by stuff, but I think she's kind of getting better these days. But like, my mom didn't want me to play Magic the Gathering or World of Warcraft because, you know, there's demons and skeletons and shit like that. And my mom, I didn't read like Harry Potter when I was a kid, but my mom definitely was like, y'all better not be getting into that Harry Potter. It's like, you mean there's these books about love and friendship? But yeah, that was a thing for me. This is these are for D&D. This is a giant for my game, which has a lot of giants in it. I think I might need a smaller paintbrush for this section here. So I've darkened it. Wait. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but in the light it looks kind of blue, but oh, it's like it's more gray and it's darker now. And I kind of like I think that's sort of the fire giant look, is the dark skin with the like bright red hair. Like, I think that's kind of cool. And I think that's like what the actual designers of the game had in mind as well. Yeah, I read The Catcher in the Rye in high school. It's actually one of the only books I actually paid attention to in school. Alright, I'm finally going to change brushes because I want to get some smaller areas. I think I need to change water, to be honest, but I am the DM. I'm doing a heavily modified version of the module that it's an official module. It's called Storm King's Thunder. But I'm like, I've changed a bunch of stuff, and my plan is to continue the adventure after they finish the module. So it's not just going to be that main story. It's going to sort of transpose into a homebrew. But the story is basically that there's giants. There's big giants like this, and normally the giants kind of stick to their own domain, and you know, they worship their gods. They have giant society. Every now and then they'll like attack a town to get some food, or sometimes they're just evil giants that have plots and stuff. So there's different types of giants. There's fire giants, stone giants, hill giants, storm giants, and they have kind of like a caste system. So the hill giants are at the bottom, and then there's like the stone giants and the frost giants, and at the very top are the storm giants, and they're just kind of like the rulers of all the giants. So in this story, someone has kidnapped the king of the storm giants, and this has sent the giant society into a sort of a mad dash, because they're all like, okay, the king is gone. This is my chance to prove that I deserve to be the king and that my giant race deserves to be on the top. So like the hill giants are like, the hill giants should be on top, not the storm giants. And every single giant race has these factions that have sort of broken off, that are trying to basically impress their god so that their god will make them the new leader of the giants. And that has a lot of dire consequences for all of the small folks around the world, because these giants are basically running around causing chaos. And so the players basically have to deal with that. That's kind of the main story for now. But there's other stories, such as there is this cult that is kind of using all of this chaos to try to start a series of rituals that will ultimately result in the bringing of Asmodeus to the material plane. And Asmodeus is basically like the devil in D&D. He's like the king of hell. So stuff like that. So those are kind of like, that's kind of the story. There's a lot of other stuff. But yeah. The only other RPG I've played is Call of Cthulhu, and I've only played like a 3-hour one shot of that. But it was fun. Yeah, I've had to rearrange different plot elements because I think a lot of the stuff as written doesn't make any sense. So I've changed a few things to my own liking, which is the beauty of being a D&D. You can being a DM, you can just change whatever you want, and it's cool. But because I'm running Storm King's Thunder, and there's all these giants running around, I have had to get a lot of giant minis. But that's okay because they're cool and they're fun to paint. I like painting the big minis. So this is the part of painting where I spend like an hour fixing mistakes. Probably people who are better at painting just make less mistakes to begin with. But overall, I think I did okay in terms of mistakes. There's just like little things. And as I've been saying, I'm not a perfectionist. I feel like as long as I get the basic idea, I am fine to just stop. I can always come back another day and fix it. Hey, I really like your videos. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Sorry, I don't know what your name is. Just a bunch of consonants. I don't know how to say it. But I did want to put those outlines on. I think that's going to be cool. So I'm going to do that now. And I also probably am going to change the color of his weapon. And honestly, like if you buy some of these minis that come pre-painted, the paint jobs are pretty bad. So I honestly don't feel bad if mine aren't perfect, because it's like, hey, this is some professional painter painted this. I understand he probably had to paint like 10,000 of them, but, and I'm sure it wasn't just one person, but still, I'm okay. They thought this was good enough to fucking release. So, all right, this is tough because you don't have to be super precise, but you have to be somewhat precise, and I don't have the steadiest hand. By the way, like, you might think you need like a super steady hand to do this, and you kind of don't unless you're trying to be perfect and get every line right and stuff. Which, as I've mentioned, I am not. I like doing this thing. See, I feel like a lot of people, when they want to get a very fine line, they just get like a very small, um, or like a point, a thin point. But I like to use these flat ones like that and just like dab it in the line. Granted, that's only going to get so fine, and it's not. It may not be like super straight, but for what I'm doing, I feel like it works. So that's a tip. I miss some personal Kevin stories. I can't even remember what I was talking about, but I'm a pretty open person. So, like, I will answer almost any question you have about me personally. Like, I don't really mind getting personal. Fuck. Oh, ah, I can't hold it steady. I don't have a good, I don't have a good leverage. See, I kind of messed it up, but you can't tell. And it's not like I'm not getting judged on it. Couldn't come up with a good name. I'm gonna change it someday. Well, I mean, it's up to you. It's just kind of unpronounceable. But if you don't need it to be pronounced, then it doesn't matter. Yeah, this is definitely not perfect, but it's still capturing the idea that I was going for, and I still think it works. It's just sometimes kind of hard to get where I want to get. I actually truly think this is cool. I need to put another coat on his hand, I think. Oh, you are judging me? Well, I can say that once I'm done, and I am not worried about. I mean, honestly, though, if there was like an actual good idea, then I would probably do it, but I can't really show you the thing well enough for people to even have enough to go off of. About to head to college. Plan on being a mechanical engineer. That's awesome. My best friend is a mechanical engineer, and he's done very well for himself. But he did bust his ass in college, and he was my roommate in college, and I remember being like, because I was like an art major and then an English major, and I was like, man, what is this guy doing all this fucking math and work and shit? But he had the last laugh because he came out of college with a job, and I did not. And he I think he was the first of my high school friends to buy a house. So sometimes the work pays off if you're willing to do it. So I'm getting to the final stages of this. Well, I'm going to do some washes on here. And yo, let me tell you, the washes, this is what fools people into thinking that you actually know what you're doing. It just like instantly makes everything look better. Cause there's like a lot of little spots that I could clean up, but I probably literally would be doing this forever if I just try to get every little spot. So I'm pretty much gonna be done with that. Um, what if I just made his weapon black? You think that'd be tight? Or maybe like really dark gray. So it's coming together. I've got all the base colors down. I'm just gonna make it even darker. How about that? I got a big gob of paint here though, which kind of sucks because I squeezed too much out. But you know what? Gouache can kind of be reactivated like infinitely. If you put some water on it, you can just use it again, kinda. So it's kind of okay if I just leave this in the palette, in my experience. Yeah, paper minis. If you want minis, but you want like the cheapest option, you can even make paper minis. You can buy um like stands. You can buy like a pack of like 30 stands or something, and then you can just like print out paper and just put them into the stands. They also sell paper minis, which are obviously cheaper than the 3D minis. But if you can find a way to stand them up, you can just make them. You know, um, if you have a printer, buying getting a printer, I feel like is mandatory if you if you're a DM. Even if you don't make minis, there's just printing out um, images and notes and just like little things for your battle mat. Even printing battle mats, that's what I do. I find or make battle mats, and I just print them and paste them to a big sketch pad, and I just lay that on the table. Domino Harley, thank you for the $5. Sorry. Hey T1G, hopefully you're well in these trying times. I love your content. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. It is definitely trying times, but I've been filled with hope because of all of the reactions that I've seen. So I am ultimately positive. At the end of the day, I'm in a positive mood. But it is definitely, it's hard. There's just a lot going on, and sometimes it's hard. But at the end of the day, I'm positive. realized I've been streaming so long. I've been streaming for almost 3 hours. But yeah, I want to do more stuff where I just stream and do like an activity or talk about something that's interesting to me. Everything doesn't always have to be political. That I mean, I feel like I do that enough in the videos. The only thing is I just don't want to alienate people. Because, not everybody's into the same stuff, which is fine. But, this is the T1J channel, so it's about stuff that T1J wants to talk about and do. So, if you like T1J, then maybe you'll like some of that stuff. So I do like that, making that darker. I think that was good. I'm painting this giant miniature. This is a fire giant. What is my current exercise regimen? Well, right now I've just been trying to just do basically Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I either do a bunch of push-ups, a bunch of squats, or I get on my exercise bike back there for like 30 minutes. So I just kind of just choose whichever of those I feel like doing. But I have been trying to just work out a little bit. I'm not going as hard as I used to. Like I used to actually hit the weights and fucking, bench press and fucking deadlift and stuff. But I haven't been doing that. But I have been trying to exercise. All right, what am I doing next? Did I paint? I painted over these hands already, right? Yeah. I've got another light over here that I'm not even using. By the way, that's another thing. If anyone wants to paint miniatures, you probably want some light. Get you a lamp. So, for the base, as far as the base colors, I think I'm happy with this for now. But I am going to put a wash on it, which hopefully I can somehow describe to you. I do need to paint the base too. Actually, I'll go ahead and paint the base. I think I'm just gonna paint it black. I just usually just paint the bases black. I'm not. Some people like go hard on their bases, like they put like little rocks and grass and stuff on it, which maybe I'll do that one day. But I'm kind of I kind of am lazy about it most of the time. Just started yoga. Yeah, yoga. I know a lot of people that are into yoga. All right, I'm gonna get a bigger paintbrush for this, so I can just cover a lot of space. But and then I need to paste this to a actual large base, because when we use the battle mat, it's actually important in terms of like judging distance and stuff. Like you see how this guy has like a big circular base. Those bases are 3 inches wide, and it's actually important that they're 3 inches wide because it helps us determine how far they are from each other, and whether they're in range of certain attacks and stuff like that. But I think I have one of those, so I can just glue it to there once I'm finished here. So see, I've just painted it kind of a dark black grayish color. Pretty lazy, but you know, it's all good. So, for the wash, I want a kind of reddish, orangish, purplish sort of tint to the armor. Maybe brownish, maybe like a brownish. But I don't want the armor to be brown. I just want it to like have a hint of it. Yeah, I was saying earlier, I think a lot of miniatures were made without the painters in mind. But we just gotta make do. Appreciate that, Lizzie. So let me try to put together a little thing. So what I've been doing, what you can do to make a wash is literally have some paint and add a bunch of water to it. Andrew, thank you for the $3. Does that say fist bump? Oh, fist bump. Fist bump to you. You can actually buy these washes. So this is like an acrylic wash. I don't know exactly what it is. It really just looks like super watered down paint. But I think it's something, it's probably more than that. But this is black. But this is the only like pre-made wash that I have. But what you can also do is mix this black with a color. But I don't know if I'm going to do that because it might make the armor too dark. Although dark armor might be good. It's paint diluted with binder instead of water. Cool. But I have just literally just mixed paint, just super watered down regular paint, and that works pretty well too. The problem here, well, it's not really a problem because, like, for example, if I put the wash in there and I don't like it, all I have to do is wait for it to dry and just paint over it again. But I would like to get it right. Let's see. So I'm going to just try to. What if I just do red? The problem is I'm not exactly sure how it's going to look. So I'm going to do like. I'm just going to try like a red and black. I just bought this pack of Arteza gouache, and I also have this set that came. It's like Nalzer's. I think it's official D&D licensed paint. And I also have like. I don't have the front of it, but Arteza. And then I have this wash, Create Effects wash. Yeah, I actually looked up, and earlier there was like 50 something people. I was like, damn, son. Okay, so let's put a little bit of this, and then a little bit of this here, like this. And let's see how that works. It may be a complete disaster, or it may be awesome. See, that is definitely deep red. I'm not sure if I want that, but Well, I think the D&D paint it's designed for beginners, so I don't think it's like supposed to be like super good. Like it's a pretty I think the pack was like $20, so it's just like something to get people started. And that was the first one I bought. But it is cool that they offer something for, people that are interested. Let's see. I'm kind of afraid to do this, but let's see how this looks. Ooh, so if I just kind of like dab it a little bit and then dry it off and kind of mix it around, it kind of gets what I'm going for. Yeah, I like it. So like, like earlier when I like painted this red and I didn't like it, this is better because it's just like a hint of red instead of like just being red. Yeah, the Reaper paints I think are probably more um, popular or more suggested, but I just didn't. I think I just didn't know about them at first. And yeah, I learned that they come with instructions. And I've never like actually looked at instructions. I just kind of like messed around and watched a couple YouTube videos. So there may be like instructions that could actually help me improve that I just don't know about. I really think this is coming out well though. I don't know if it'll show up in the camera though, which kind of sucks. I'll see if I can. Once I turn this light off, I might be able to show it better. But I kind of need this to see. That's a cool thing when you do these washes. You can take a dry brush to sort of almost not erase, but like just sop up some of it. Yeah, I think that. Well, I mean, I'm glad that watching it is soothing, but doing it is also pretty calming to me. So, it kind of has a red tint to it now, which I like personally. It's hard to see, but I think you can see it a little bit. Learn to plate the models. I mean, that's something I could look into one day for sure. Do I like playing chess? I do like playing chess. Okay, and now I'm probably just gonna do a black wash all over the leather part. It's gonna make it significantly darker, but it's going to also add a lot of texture, and it's probably gonna look good. And I kind of want overall to be like a dark look, so it's like it's kind of jarring because it looks significantly different. It's just so much darker, but it adds so much texture. Like this is the part where I was talking about. It just makes it look like you know what you're doing because the darkness. I mean the paint naturally sort of seeps into the creases, so it makes it look like you shaded it when really you just fucking lobbed a bunch of wet paint on it. But it's good. It works out in my favor. So y'all remember how it looked, hopefully. Just watch what it looks like afterwards. It has to dry before it actually looks good, but I can already tell it's going to look dope. It especially looks good on clothing because clothing always has creases and stuff. So the more that the paint sort of falls into the creases of the miniature, the better it looks. And it also depends on the miniature because the more detailed the miniature is, the more creases there are for the paint to fall into. So that's why, if you want the very best quality, you want to try to find some pretty detailed miniatures. And I believe this is Nalzer's. Nalzer's, I don't know what company that is, but they make a lot of fucking amazing miniatures and that are very cheap. I'm not sure how they do that, but it's dope. Like they make a lot of like very good looking detailed miniatures. And they're not very expensive. All right, Melissa, thank you for dropping by for sure. If I made a square and paint it red, could you call that art? Well, there have been very famous paintings that are essentially that simple, so. I do think that the pre-made wash is better than the washes that I make just by mixing stuff together and watering stuff down. But it does work. And but also I need to buy some more because they sell them in like, all kinds of colors. But black is just a good one to have. I think black and brown should be the first ones you buy because you can kind of put black over anything. It'll make it significantly darker, but it'll probably look good. Just as long as you don't mind it being darker. So I originally didn't have this like brown look in mind, but that's kind of what I came out with, and I like it. So. I think I'm even gonna paint. Yeah, I'm gonna paint his crown like a brownish. I can probably even use the wash on his skin since he's dark. The multi-million-dollar painting that self-destructed. Yeah. Is everyone here American? Unlikely. Although it is pretty late, so people who aren't American are probably... It's probably a pretty weird time for you. For the hair, I'm probably not going to use the black. I'm probably just going to make a dark red. I actually think some of the brown got into the black wash, or maybe it's just from the brush, but that's fine. I guess I'll just do the hammer as well. I was gonna add some detail to the hammer, but I don't think I need to do that because it's just, I think I'm sort of envisioning it as just like a big stone hammer. Okay. So I'm gonna make like a dark. Actually, I have some red already from the armor, so I'm gonna put that in the hair, I think. I'd estimate most non-Americans are going to sleep or waking up. Yeah, now that I think about it, most people here are probably American or Canadian. But there's probably like there may be some people from um, Mexico or South America as well. I've come to find out I have viewers from kind of all over. Actually, this is not what I want. This is what I want here, the red. So we'll see about this red. I might end up coming back and painting over the red because I do want it to be bright, but the texture that I get from this might be worth it. And it might still appear bright because in contrast to the rest of it, it's very bright. I think no, I think it's still gonna look good. Yeah, we're good. So I think I'm done. And it has to fully dry first before you can really where you can really appreciate it. But you can start to see like how the dark wash has like gotten into the creases and just gave it so much shading and texture compared to how it looked before. Um, I'll turn off this light. Maybe that'll make it easier to see. Over here. It's still a little bit hard to really tell the colors and stuff, but I think it looks pretty good. I may come back and like fix up the armor a little bit, but I like it, to be honest. Um, and again, it's not perfect. There are people who could do way better, but for my game, I think it'll be fine. So what I'm going to do now, well, I'm gonna let it dry for a little bit, and then I'm gonna, if I have a base, I'm just gonna glue it to a base. Got a Marvel feel to it. Well, I'm glad you guys like it, because I like it. And I do have this beholder, but I will probably just do that another day. I didn't think that this one would take me 3 hours to do. So yeah, I think that's all the painting I'm gonna do for now. Are these in the right way? Yeah. I should probably, I need to arrange these by color, but Can't be bothered at this moment. And then there's the process of cleaning up your workspace, which is never fun, but I guess you gotta do it. Okay, I'm supposed to put this on the bottom. Yeah. But I will say, as I do this, I'm probably going to end the stream here in, I'll say, maybe 10 to 20 minutes, because I have been streaming for 3 hours and I'm starting to get hungry. It's dinner time. But, you know, thanks for hanging out with me. I am going to glue this thing to a base if I have one, though. So, yeah. So here we have a 3-inch base, and in D&D, the characters are classified by their size. There's tiny, small, medium, large, huge, and gargantuan. And giants are huge, which means they need a 3-inch base. So, this is not fully dry, but I don't think it's dry enough where I'm not gonna mess it up. Yeah, I just think I'm just gonna super glue. Super glue usually works for me. Maybe for this big one I might need something. Yeah, I'm just gonna have some crazy glue. So I'll probably do more painting streams because it seems like you guys like it. But I also want to do other stuff. Like someone asked if I play chess. I love chess. I would love to do a chess stream. I'm gonna do some gaming streams. Like League of Legends, maybe fighting games. I just bought GTA 5. I might play that. And just, you know, whatever. I have like Lego Marvel superheroes. I might play that on stream. And then we can always do, you know, we can do a stream where we talk about the news or politics, or we can talk about movies that have come out. There's a lot of stuff we can do. Just holding this down for a minute while it sticks. Yeah, I'm sure there's better adhesives that I could use, but 4 minis super glue has mostly worked for me. I'll let you, Lamaine, thank you for the $5. One more for the road. Did you think the King Batch video about the protest was cringy? I didn't watch the whole thing. I kind of think that I feel like spoken word is cringy to me in general. But I understand the art form, and I like the poetry of it. I like the words of it. But the performance of it, I've never really been into like slam poetry or poetry slams or spoken word and stuff. I'm not super into it. But I appreciate the poetry of it. For sure. Like the actual words. How do you get started in chess? Well, I don't know if you guys watch Twitch, but right now chess is blowing up on Twitch. There's a lot of like really good chess players that have gotten really popular on Twitch. So if you can find one that is good at teaching low-level concepts, you can do that. The first thing you need to do is just learn how the rules of the game. It's not very hard to learn, but if you don't know the rules, you should learn the rules, because the rules are they're not intuitive. Like if you don't know how to play chess and someone set a chessboard in front of you, you would have no idea what to do. But from there, just kind of like I would say, learn the rules and then just play a few games with the rules that you know, and then just find like a beginner's guide to chess. It'll teach you like some very simple concepts, like try to control the center, the point values of the pieces. So like you never want to trade a pawn for a bishop because the bishop is worth more. Castle your king, so stuff like that. And then after that, I would say just like watch chess content creators, because right now that's a thing you can do. I'm a fan of Hikaru, who's probably like the king of the chess streamers right now. But he's like a grandmaster chess player, but he's also really good at explaining things at a low level. Did he have misspelled names on his body? I didn't know that. Yeah, League is kind of hard when you first start. So yeah, now this guy has a base. And so now he's ready, pretty much ready for play. And you can kind of see now that things are dry. You can see like just the texture and the shading and stuff has come out pretty well. I actually should stop messing with this because the glue's not fully dried, but yeah, there are chess tricks to where you can win the game very quickly, but pretty much anyone who has played the game for more than like 2 weeks will learn how to stop those cheesy chess strategies. Like you can beat people who don't know what they're doing, and like I think the quickest possible way to beat someone is you can beat someone on in 3 moves. And there's a more common one that's called like Fool's Mate or the Scholar's Mate. I think it's 5 moves, but all of that stuff is very easy to stop. So you just have to learn how to stop it, and then you will never lose to it ever again. But it is a cheesy way to beat players that don't know what they're doing. Yeah, the skin still kind of looks blue, especially under the light. But I think, um, the looking at it now, it looks more gray like I wanted. I also see that I missed a spot on his hand, but I'll do that later. The thing about the 4 move checkmate is you would only attempt that if you were going for the 4 move checkmate. Like it isn't like the way you would normally play, because the 4 move checkmate requires you to bring your queen out very early, and normally you would never bring your queen out early. That's like not how you play chess. So when you know what you're looking for, it's very easy to see that someone is going for that. But yeah, chess is the most complicated game of all time, and I like most people who are good at chess, who are like world class at chess, have been playing since they were like 6 years old, and it seems like you can't become a top level player unless you've been playing for like 40 years. But you can enjoy the game and get pretty decent and play with your friends and stuff. The game is just too complicated, and there's too many variations on what can happen in the game. But you can get pretty decent at the game. I think you can get decent at the game fairly quickly. And not saying I'm decent, but I have gotten better like rapidly over the last couple of weeks. And this is kind of like my approach to a lot of games is once you like learn certain fundamentals, you can level up very quickly and get to a pretty baseline of decency. And then from there, that's when you learn to master the game. The same thing with like League of Legends. Like I've been putting a lot of effort into learning that game. But there's just like certain fundamentals that you have to know that aren't necessarily intuitive. You have to either be taught it or somehow figure it out. And the same thing with chess. Like, you know how I said you don't bring your queen out, but you might think it's good to bring your queen out because the queen is the most powerful piece. The queen can move all over the board and do whatever the fuck the queen wants. But it's actually bad to move your queen out because the queen is so powerful, whenever it is in the open, people will try to attack it. And that becomes very frustrating for you as a player. Yeah, you want to learn the 3D chess. I think that someone actually made a like functioning 3D chess set that has rules and stuff that you can buy. Like I don't think in the show there were actual rules to the game, but someone actually like developed rules for it. I saw this video of this guy, this chess player who was, you know, he was doing, you've probably seen those videos where it's like real doctor watches scenes from doctor movies. It was like that except with chess. It was like the chess player watching chess scenes from movies. And in like 90% of the movies, the chess, either the chessboard was just set up wrong to begin with, or they would make some kind of nonsensical illegal move in the show. So I didn't get too much paint on myself, which is surprising. I just got a little on my finger here. And that's just because I was holding the base a lot. Yeah, if all you want to do is enjoy a game, I think that's easy. You um, just play it, really. And understand that as a competitive game, you're going to lose a lot as a beginner. But once you start learning stuff and getting better. Sailor Orbiter, what's up? Is that? I remember it used to be we used to call you Alex. I don't know if you still go by that, but I'll call you Sailor if you want. But unfortunately, I'm ending the stream. But I do. So, what's the word? I'm like losing my mind right now. I appreciate everyone stopping by. I've gotten a lot of subscribers lately. A lot of people have been suggesting me during these times, which I think is great. Okay. I will definitely call you Sailor Orbiter, or probably Sailor for short, unless you tell me to call you something else. Um, but yeah, I've also got a bunch of new patrons, so I appreciate everyone that has been suggesting me and things like that. I will do my best to try to live up to it. But yeah, I guess that's it. You can look into the description below the video for all my social media links and ways you can support the channel and things of that nature. But um, I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try to stream again on Monday, so look out for that. And then we'll develop the stream schedule beyond that. Anyway, thanks again. Thanks for watching. Definitely had like a higher than average viewership this time. If people keep watching like that, that'd be great. But yeah. I will see y'all next week probably. Bye.